Hello and welcome. My name is Lexi Jong, and here I like to talk about luxury makeup. And today we're going to do a get ready with me using some new products. So I've got a bunch of like random new things that we're going to be testing out. So I'm going to bring you in closer and let's get started. We're going to start off with the Dior Forever Skin Veil Primer. Just going to put this on and the Viseart Eye Primer on my lids. And foundation, it's not new, but this is the Sisleya Le Teint foundation in 0R. So I'm going to use that. And then under the eyes, I'm going to use the Tom Ford concealer in shade 0N0 Blanc. So I'm going to add a little bit of the concealer first. Okay, and then I'm taking the Synergy Jumbo Concealer Brush to kind of tap in the Tom Ford concealer. So you can see that adds some brightening under my eyes, just tapping that with my finger. And then I'm going to add the rest of my foundation. And I just think this, you know, it just looks a little more natural when I add the foundation on top. So I'm not covering the entire area the concealer was, but, you know, more so. And then we'll come back to the rest of the face, but I really want to try these Violette FR Eau Paint. And I have a couple of these from the first launch, and I thought the formula was nice, but I didn't like the colors that I picked up. However, she recently released 2 new shades, and they are really pretty. So they come in this box. It's 3 grams. This one here is Scarabée d'Or. So gold scarab, I believe. And let me just swatch these here. So do have a little eye stick. Look at that. So it's like green and gold. Really beautiful. I can't wait to try that on. And then the other one I picked up is Ciel de Nuit, which I believe means night sky. And this is one of the matte ones. So it's a matte blue. Look at that. I mean, these are, I'm really excited about these colors. I think they're really pretty. So I'm not the best with this type of liquid shadow, but we are going to try it out. So there are directions on the box, by the way. It says glide the flat side of the applicator along the top lash line and quickly blend the pigment into the crease using fingertips or a brush. Create a shape or a precise liner look by using the tip to draw. So that's that. And let's see, where are these made? So these are vegan. They have a 12-month lifespan and they are made in the US. So let's go ahead, and I actually want to use both of these. I'm going to use the green kind of all over and the blue as a liner. So let's try this out. All right, so we are going to start off with the Scarabée d'Or, and we're just going to swipe this here along the lash line. Let's start with that and see how that goes. I'm taking the Esom V27 brush, and I'm just kind of making sure I've got everything there, and then I'm going to feather that up. I mean, that's a really pretty color. I'm moving into the Synergy Worker 2, just so I can blend that a little bit in the crease. I mean, you really don't need more shadow than that. I was thinking I would have to reapply, but I think that's good. All right, so I think that is actually enough shadow, but we're gonna go ahead and add a little bit more today. So I'm still gonna add it down here, so that way if it dries while I'm working on with it, I'm going in with the Worker 2 again. That way if it dries, then I still have more pigment down there than somewhere up here. I have to say, I really, really like this color. This formula is really easy to work with. You don't have to worry about it. You know, you've got plenty of time to work with it before it dries. I'm taking the V27 and just getting a little pigment on here. I'm going to put this on the lower lash line here, but see how it's a little, like I didn't get it on evenly. I'm just pressing that into the back of my hand to make sure that I don't have anything kind of splayed out. All right, so there's that. And then I want to go ahead and use the blue on the upper lash line. So let's test that out. All right, so with the blue, I want to be more cautious. So I'm taking this smaller brush. This is the Esom V09. I'm going to get some pigment on here. And I'm just pressing it into the back of my hand, just like with the other brush. And I'm just going to put this on. All right, so there it is. Again, I'm not great with liners, liquid liners, but you know, I really like these particular colors and I like the formula. So this is gonna be the eye look for today, and let's add some mascara. For mascara, I'm just using the Kjaer Weis I'm Possible mascara. For brows, I'm taking the Givenchy Mr. Brow Pencil in 2. And just gonna put this on quickly. All right, so let's move on to the rest of the face. I'm taking a little bit of the Givenchy Prisme Libre powder in Sparkling Lavender. This is the one for the holiday that did not arrive here in the US. And I'm just gonna dust this loosely over my face just to give it a little bit of base before we put on bronzer. So I just put on a little bit of the powder. And then for bronzer, we're going to try a couple of new things here. So we have the new Sonia G Niji Pro brush. So this is designed specifically for use as a bronzer. This is actually all undyed goat hair. It's just a mix of black and white goat hair. So I mean, you can see this is just from the way I dried it. So unfortunately it got pressed against a different brush there, but the brush itself is incredibly soft. You can see that everything gets in there like pretty perfectly. So this is already washed and dried. And for bronzer, we're going to take the Sisley Fido Poudre Compact. So I picked this up in the deepest shade to use as a bronzer. So this is shade 4, bronze. It does come with a piece of plastic and a little like cushion. Now I use the lightest shade in this for, you know, face powder, but we're going to use this for bronzer. So this is how much comes up just from tapping it on the pan. I'm going to try to get some of that off. There still looks to be a lot of pigment. So I'm going to just pat it on the cloth of my lab first. And then let's see. All right, so there's the bronzer. Wow, even after wiping it off, you can still see a bunch. So I can tell you that this brush feels incredibly soft and it actually feels very dense and firm. There's not a lot of bristle movement. gliding it across your face. So this is going to work really well for products that are a little bit firmer in the pan as well. Or, you know, anytime you want to get a product in a particular place, obviously it's a large brush, so you're going to be using a larger area, but it's going to deposit it and put it there nicely. So take a look at the rounded edges here. And I will have a separate video on this brush. So you can see it starts increasing in hair length about here. All right, and then for blush, we have another new blush that I want to try. This is the Honestly Black Cream Blush. And I just thought that sounded so cool. So I have never tried any of her products before. Here it is. This is shade 400 and it's made in Japan, 7 grams. And I picked this up from Beautylish during the Beautylish gift card event. So here's the blush. Okay, so it feels balmy to the texture, and it actually color-wise looks like the Givenchy Noir lip gloss that, you know, has the color change to the plummy pink shade. So let's try this on the skin. I'm going to grab a brush. I'm going to use the Sonia G Mini Base, and let's just get a little product up on here and see how this looks. Okay, just wiping the brush off a little bit. So it actually went on much more pigmented than I expected. Just gonna use my fingers to kind of fade that in a little bit. That's a really pretty color. So let's go on to this side. This time I picked up less product, I think. Very easy to get color from this though. Like it feels like a thin texture when you touch it. And you know how sometimes those like thinner ones, they're not that pigmented. I'd say this is. So here's the cream blush. I think that's really cool. I like this product so far. So we'll see how it performs throughout the day. I'll leave an update in here. And then I picked up one of the new Makeup by Mario lip liners. I don't love his lipsticks, but I was hoping the lip liners would be better. And I was good. I only picked up one to be on the safe side. So one side you have a lip brush, and on the other side, by the way, this is the shade Hue. This is the pencil. And I don't think it comes with the sharpener. Let me open the other side in case it's like stuck down there, but I don't feel anything in the box. All right, there is a sharpener, but you can see I had to really kind of peel away the box. Mine's like stuck in there. So probably from shipping or something, but there is a sharpener that it comes with. So that's good to know. Let's try this out. And again, this is the shade Hue. All right, so this is the lip liner, and I have to say I like this. It goes on nicely. It's one of those like drier creamy pencils, so it doesn't feel like it's moving a lot. It kind of stays put where you put it. Yeah, and I have to say I like this shade as well. So yeah, overall the lip pencil, I really like it. And I do have a new shade in the Tom Ford lipsticks to try on. So this is Paper Doll. So let's see how this looks. And it's not gonna be completely accurate on top of this pencil. So here's a little swatch. And then if you build it up, you get it a little bit pinker. So let's see what that looks like on here. So this one is definitely gonna be like a milkier, creamier formula. And there it is. All right, now, although not new, this highlighter has come back in stock from Cle de Peau. This is the 102 A Glow with Wonder from the holiday. So I'm going to use this one today, and I'm using the Chikuhodo KZ3 brush. Just going to get a little bit of this up and just dust this here. I really love this highlighter. And let's put a little bit right here. So I have to say, I kind of do like this lipstick combination. When I look at it up close, like, I'm not super huge on those like milkier, you know, colors, but I do actually really like this. And yeah, let me show you from a distance. So this is the final look from a distance. I have to say, I really like it. I think everything that I picked up this time was a winner. There's one thing that I'm on the fence about. So let's go through everything individually. First up, the Dior Forever Skin Veil Primer. This is a great moisturizing primer. I tend to reach for this a lot during the colder months when I feel like I want my skin to have an extra boost of hydration, yet it still performs really well with all of my foundations. With all the foundations that I use, I have not noticed any like pilling or any issues that I sometimes get with some other moisturizing primers. So it seems to be compatible with everything I've used it with, and I really like this one. So this is a great face primer. And then for eye primer, I always reach for the Viseart eye primer. This is my favorite all-purpose primer. It's a silicone-based one, so it really gives you that smooth base, but it does help promote longevity of the shadows, and it's clear. So I really love both of these products. For concealer, I really like the Tom Ford concealer, and it's nice to have shades that are actually light on me. So I like how it gives a little brightening. I like the formula. For me, my favorite way to apply this is just to use a little bit, let it sit on the face for a minute, and then kind of brush it or tap it out. And I typically use this underneath foundation. The foundation I've been using the most recently is the Sisley Sisleya Le Teint foundation. This is shade 0R Vanilla. I think it's a good shade for me. I don't think it's quite the perfect shade. I do think it's slightly deeper, and they do have a lighter one, but you know, overall, I think it's sheer enough that it works. It's supposed to have skincare benefits. I don't know if it does. I have been using it regularly, but I can't say that I can attribute anything in my skin specifically to foundation. I don't really look towards makeup for skincare benefits, but you know, it doesn't hurt to have anything extra either. So I really like that foundation because I think it just looks really natural on the skin and it holds up all day. It's gonna be like a lighter to light medium coverage. Moving on to the Violette FR Yo Paint in Scarabée d'Or and the Ciel de Nuit. You can see that this really is going to dry down, so there's no movement. This product does not move, but I guess I did get some glitter up on my finger that transferred. So this, I did want to say, this is like when I am touching this here, you can feel the raised glitter pieces. It's a little, it feels gritty here now that it's dried. It did not feel gritty going on. And this feels smooth, but you know, it's a matte liquid shadow. So again, it's going to have that type of texture as well. You can actually see a few of the cracks in my hand there. But I think overall, again, I've used these formulas before in other shades. They hold up really well all day and they're fairly easy to use. You know, I think if you're somebody who's good with liquid eyeshadow, these will be a piece of cake. If you're somebody who's new to it, definitely do what I did, concentrate it at the lash line and then work your way up. I think the formula has the right consistency so that it will dry and set, but you've got time to work with it and it moves without, you know, having any sort of like lumps and bumps along the way. So I really like these. These are a win for me. Mascara, I've been using the Kjaer Weis I'm Possible mascara recently. And the first few weeks, you know, it was pretty wet. It's still a little bit on the wet side, but I actually do like this mascara a lot. It's still not my favorite. You know, I still prefer the Surratt Noir Lash Tint, the Sisley So Stretch. But, you know, I do have to say that I like this enough that I would purchase it again. I think it's a nice product. I really like how it comes in metal packaging and it's refillable. So I will probably pick up a refill for this at some point in the future. The brush, I think, is an okay brush. Like, I like it, but I can't say it's like my favorite brush ever. So you can see the actual shape of it, and then the front and the back here right now are flat, so you can see when I turn it. So overall, nice mascara, happy with that. Brow products, I used the Givenchy Mr. Brow Pencil in shade 2. This is a powder brow pencil, very much like the Gucci. I don't know yet at this time which one I prefer. I think I need to use more of this and see how it performs as it gets older and drier, because I have noticed with my Gucci pencils that sometimes, you know, it gets a little bit, after I've used a lot of it, the actual pencil powder product gets a little bit firmer in there and a little bit harder to transfer the color initially. So far, I have not had that happen with this, but obviously I've only been using this for a couple of weeks now. So we'll have to wait as it gets a little bit older to see. But this actually came out before Gucci. I would say, you know, it's at least just as good. So I really like it, and I like the spoolie on there and everything as well. So all of that is great. The Anna Sui blush. So this is a cream blush in, I mean, it's just the black cream blush. That's this here. And I really like this blush. You know, I think it's really easy to get a nice flush. The black part, you know, it's technically a little gimmicky, but I don't mind. I like it, and I like the consistency. It feels very thin and balmy when you touch it, but it does not feel balmy or sticky on my skin. You know, I don't feel anything here. It feels just like the rest of my face does with the foundation and everything. And I think it's really easy to apply and blend out. So I'll have an update here with how long it lasts and performs as well. But it's definitely something that I'm very happy with so far. And then the Sisley bronzer. So again, this is the Fida Poudre Compact in shade 4 bronze. So it's technically a face powder that you can use as a bronzer. Packaging on these is kind of chintzy. This is like a cheap plastic. I feel like the closure thing is not going to hold up, but I have to say I felt like that about my first one, and I've had that since it came out, and it's still holding up fine. This shade itself, I wasn't sure. This is what it looks like. So you can see it's a little bit warmer in tone than what I usually go for. Let me compare this to the Gucci. So here's the Gucci bronzer in 01 Fair, which is my favorite bronzer. Just so you can see the difference in tones, you can see that the Sisley is definitely gonna be warmer. It has more of a golden red tone to it versus more, this one here has red in it, but you can see it doesn't really have so much of those golden tones. It's a little bit ashier in comparison, a little bit more gray. But color-wise, I still prefer the Gucci. I really like the formula of the Gucci, but I also really do like this formula of this powder in general, and I think it adds a little blurring. I have used this a few times now, and you know, it's been hard to make up my mind on this, but I have found that it's all down to application. If I can get the application right, then I like the bronzer on. Otherwise, it's really easy to put on a little bit too much and have it be a little bit too warm, a little bit too dark for me. And this is one of those powders that you can see these both look very pigmented, but this one, the Gucci, is actually going to be a little bit more powdery, whereas the Sisley's a little bit more pigmented. So if I go in with a little bit too much of the Gucci, it's easy to kind of brush that away because it's a more powdery product. Whereas the Sisley, if I put on a little bit too much, because it is strongly pigmented, you know, I can't really brush away the color. I can cover it with some other powder or something like that, but it is a little bit harder to remove excess. So just something to note with the difference in the formula. This one, you know, the pigments really kind of stay put. And we also use the new Niji Pro brush. And I mean, let's face it, it's a Niji brush. It's a winner. Pretty much all of her brushes are. I think every brush I've purchased, there are a couple of brushes I never picked up from hers because I didn't think that I would use them. But I have, I think, all but maybe one or two of her brushes. And I absolutely love this one too. Now, I do think that this is going to be a great bronzer brush, and it's very soft. So I'll have a full review on this. So definitely take a look at that. And what else did I use new? Oh, the Mario pencil. I'm very happy that this actually comes with a pencil sharpener. I like having the little lip brush on there, although I probably won't use it too much. But I like how he, you know, has those things on there. Now, with his like the cream cheek products, you can remove those and wash them. You can't with the lip brush. You know, that's totally reasonable in my opinion. And the actual shade here, it's warmer than I thought it was going to be, but I actually did really like it on my lips, and I like the formula. Again, I will have an update with performance of that and everything, but you know, it goes on nicely. And yeah, I mean, so you can kind of smudge it a little bit here, but it does kind of set down. So I think the lip liner is a winner. The Tom Ford lipstick in Paper Doll. So that's this. And I think it looks a little bit milky on the lips at first, but it kind of does settle in, and I think it looks a little bit better after a minute versus when you first apply it. I feel like when I first applied it, I could see a little bit more of that milky whiteness to it, you know, kind of more of that like milky texture and color mixed in there. But I feel like it did kind of meld and settle in, and now it's like a milky pink color, but I'm not seeing any of that milk essentially. You know, it seems a little bit more emulsified. That's not quite the right word. So after it has sat on my lips for a few minutes, I feel like it just kind of settles in and looks a little bit better. You know how sometimes like foundations and everything, they have to meld with your skin to look a little bit better. I feel like that lipstick sort of did that. And maybe that's because of the lip liner underneath. But the Tom Ford lipsticks, you know, these are hopefully the newer formula, and they're not going to go rancid as quickly. That's what I'm hearing. So hopefully that's accurate. But I have to say that I do like their formula, and as long as they don't go bad quickly, I'll be very happy with this. So yeah, I like this color. I think it's a really nice one. And the last thing I used was, well, actually I forgot, the Givenchy Sparkling Lavender Powder. I really love this powder. You can pick this up from Feel Unique. So if you're in the US and you don't have access to this, Feel Unique is a great resource to purchase this. You can actually get it on sale, and it's slower shipping, but there's free shipping. So I know for those of us in the US who are so used to being able to get free shipping on products, that's like a big deal breaker for me on some purchases. So this, you know, I think it's really worth it. So it does have 4 shades. It kind of looks like it's only 2 shades, but if you actually look at it closely, there are differences between all 4 of the shades, and it's sparkling lavender. So there is a little bit of shimmer to it, but I have to say that I never use enough that it looks shimmery in my opinion. So this is it. It's not going to be as shimmery as like meteorites or anything like that in my opinion. And I tap this on under my eyes. I use it all over my face, and I just think it's a beautiful, beautiful powder. And the purple helps with a little bit of color correction and brightening. And the last thing I wanted to mention is the Cle de Peau highlighter in 102. And this is called A Glow with Wonder. And I absolutely love this particular shade. Let's put this right here. You can see there's a little bit of like a golden hue to it. The colors mix together very beautifully. It's subtle, and I just think it's just a really beautiful conglomeration of colors. You can see on my skin that it's like a, you know, it adds a little warmth, but yet there's brightening to it and it's subtle. And it's not going to be too gold. It's not too red. It's kind of like all of these little firelight hues kind of mixed very softly together. And it just gives like kind of, I think a glow is actually a good term, because to me, it reminds me of sitting by the firelight where you get a little bit of that cast from the fire. And yeah, so I think everything was a winner today. I'm really happy about that. And thank you so much for tuning in. I would love to know if you've tried any of these products. Subscribe if you haven't already, and let me know what you think of these products. And I can't wait to hear from you. Thank you so much, and have a great day, and happy holidays if you celebrate the US Thanksgiving, and I'll see you very soon.